Hey, what's going on, guys? Coming again here. In this video we'll obtain a list of more than 5,000 Korean words that are treated to be like the most basic must-have vocabulary in order to actually start talking in Korean, like building your own speaking repertoire, if we can say so. And I personally I'm gonna be using this for the exercise of Korean sentence building, believe it or not. So in cooperation with a Python script that I've already built that actually allows you to create, to generate interactive Korean to English vocabulary from any Korean text using Python. And just to give you an idea how the output looks like, so if we do input this sort of a text, this is kind of a sentence that we can get a translation for, and then we actually have this list of the words, where we do split this original sentence word by word, and meanwhile associating the part of speech type, we have the translation, and for those like verbs, adverbs, and adjectives, we do have the conjugation forms. So I don't need this part and this part either, but I really want to have this one. So in that case, I would be able to say like noun and get the list of nouns, and then I would like to say like verb and get the list of verbs, etc. So eventually I will have my basic 5,000 words vocabulary to actually go for a Korean sentence building practice. And probably I would just slightly edit this sort of app to, well, what I'm currently thinking about, I would probably try to make a single project from this too. So trying to embed my Korean keyboard, but where's my Korean keyboard widget, along with that sort of a kind of database. So maybe having the database on the left and input Korean keyboard input widget on the right. I'm not sure yet how exactly am I going to be doing this, but that's kind of the idea. So anyway, first of all, I need the list of words to create a database from. So then I would be able to actually go for my sentence building practice, which if it works, I'll make another video demonstrating how exactly that kind of works. So this is it regarding the intro, and now without further ado, let's actually start coding. So here is the issue. We have a download link. However, something has gone wrong, and if we just go and try to download, it tells us like that, sorry, download is not available, and just go back. But we're not going to give up that easily, right? So we can just use a bit of a web scraping techniques in order to get this sort of words. So if I just say view the page source, and if I try to find this particular specific, this should be the HTML table, right? So if I just search for HTML table, so we have two, and the second one with the style, with the class equals to pretty table. This one is that we need. We have this DD tags where all the A tags with H references and the titles that we need. So literally we only need to extract either this title or just the bare kind of like word. But I don't really want this specific use cases. I just want the bare words. So I'm gonna be extracting only these titles because that's exactly what I wanted to go for. So without further ado, let's start. So I just opened the terminal on my desktop, and then I need to evoke my Scrapy shell. Well, obviously, if you don't have Python Scrapy framework installed on your operating system, you won't be able to follow this tutorial. However, installing Scrapy is not that big deal. It can be installed on whatever operating system, and Scrapy shell is the default command line tool available for the purposes like the one that I'm supposed to be demonstrating now. So first of all, just to keep the one-line format, I want to make outgoing HTTP response and parse the I want to make the outgoing HTTP request and work with the response that would come back simultaneously, and that's the reason why I want to create this little tuple data structure. And I want to be printing only the second element, which would be the response itself. So let's just print this response, and the first one we want just to fetch the actual page. And in order to do that, I just grab this sort of a link, and just first of all, just to give you an idea that I don't have any files, so we would be storing the output file on the desktop. Okay, so I hope that's clear. And here we go. So the very first thing, I'm just making a request. Sorry, I don't want this view source. So making a request to the specific URL, we have the 200 response, which means everything is okay. So from now on, we can actually start parsing it. So we can say response.css, and then we're looking for a table, and we're looking for a class equals to, let me spell it properly, pretty table. So pretty table like this. And here we got the corresponding selector. Now within the pretty table itself, we're looking for nested CSS selector here. So CSS DD tag, this one, and within the DD tag, we're looking for the A tag for a link. And within the A tag, we're looking for the attribute of title, because that's the exact thing that I'm actually looking for. Okay, so this sort of a title here. Okay, and also, well, let's actually have a look. They should give us a list of selectors, right? We have the data. So now in order to extract this data, we need simply to say like title, sorry, here dot get all, and this should give us, yeah, the bare kind of like list of the words. This is our database of the words, and I don't really want this to be a list structure, as you can see by this square bracket. So in order to convert this sort of a thing into a kind of single string, I would be using the join and the join function, and would be joined by the new line. Just to give you an idea, you'll now understand why exactly I'm using this new line instead of white space. So the join, and here, just to make sure we're exactly before the get all, before here. So now this should be a single string, okay, but we have these new line separators. So from now on, we can actually start writing this sort of a thing into a file. So as far as we do reference the second element of this entire tuple, we can actually start from the very beginning and say open, let's call it vocabulary.txt, because it's just a plain text file. I want to write to the file stream, say dot write, and another couple of parentheses. And if I did everything correctly, it should now write the bytes to the file. So let's have a look at the output file that we have. And this is the output file. Now just to give an idea, so how many words has been scraped, so 5,888 words, which is absolutely fantastic. So it's a little bit more than they state here. However, I don't think this is a big issue really. So these are the words that would be formulating the database for our future Korean sentence building practice, hopefully. So I will now try that, and if it kind of works, I'll make another video showcasing this new modified version of this dynamic auto-generated Korean vocabulary that I've been introducing in the beginning of this video. So hopefully we'll be able to go for a bit of a practice in like how to build a Korean sentence using the set of this most basic 5,000 Korean words. Well, this is it from my side, guys. I hope you liked the tutorial, and I'll give you a link to the data set that we've created in this video in the description below, in order if you just want to use these words. And later on, again, like if I do come up with my own database with the translations and with the verb conjugations as well, in that case, that also would be publicly available for free to make use of with the purposes of learning Korean. This is it from my side, guys. Thanks for watching. Until the next time, and take care.